I recently got the chance to finally watch the new Mortal Kombat movie, and overall I thought it was okay. Not as good as the 1995 movie, but better than I expected. If you're watching this video, then I assume that you've either seen the full film yourself, or at the very least have a basic knowledge of the characters and story of the Mortal Kombat franchise. If for some weird reason you're watching this and you don't know about any of that, then basically the plot of the movie is that the God of Thunder, Raiden, has taken it upon himself to gather and train presumably the best fighters on Earth for a tournament called Mortal Kombat. Unfortunately for them, their opponents from Outworld don't even plan on letting them live long enough to participate, which forces Earth's heroes into battle prematurely. So far, the movie's been getting mixed reviews, and if you go through enough of them, you'll notice two constant opinions. Josh Lawson as Kano carried the movie, and Cole Young is a bland, bad character. I'd say that Kano's the most charismatic character in the whole film, and that without him it would be significantly less enjoyable, but I wouldn't go as far as to say that he carried the film, because as good as he is, his charm wore off by the final act. I also agree that Cole is a bland character, but he wasn't bad in my opinion. They made the terrible mistake of not only putting a new character in the lead role, but also giving him no personality. Despite that, I found him to be tolerable. Louis Tan did a decent job, and apart from him getting literal plot armor for powers, he never got in the way of me enjoying the movie. As far as the other characters go, they're a pretty mixed bag. Taking into consideration that they all lack development and feel rushed, I think Scorpion and Sub-Zero were the best parts of the movie. Hiroyuki Sanada and Jota Slim, who played them respectively, gave the best performances of the film and had the best fight scenes in my opinion. I also liked Jessica McName as Sonya Blade and Mehcad Brooks as Jax. The only characters that were borderline bad in my opinion were unfortunately Liu Kang and Raiden. Liu Kang's pretty much the poster boy for the Mortal Kombat franchise, so it felt weird seeing him take a backseat role in the movie. I think Ludi Lin looks the part well enough, but his mannerisms and speech, by speech I mean the literal sound of his voice and his dialogue, need some work. This was especially apparent during his awkward, in-your-face, we need to train hard speech in the temple. It felt so over the top for no reason that I expected it to lead to a joke of some kind. Most likely at Lu's expense, but nothing. The movie just moves on. Raiden is definitely the worst character. He lacks his signature white hair, and even worse, his signature personality. Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't he supposed to be the understanding, words of wisdom guy? Cause in the movie, he comes off as a grumpy, impatient old man who just expects things to be in place. He has the audacity to criticize Earthrealm's warriors for not being ready for Mortal Kombat, as if they didn't just find out that they'd have to fight for the fate of the world against superpowered beings from another dimension. Even worse was when he straight up told Cole to go home because he'd expected him to have unlocked his powers by then. Powers Cole didn't even know he could have until a day prior. Maybe instead of just expecting things to go your way, you should have actually done something to prepare Scorpion's bloodline for Mortal Kombat, since you knew for absolute certainty that at some point, one of them would have to fight, thanks to them being born with the dragon mark. Don't worry, I'll come back to that soon. As for the villains, overall, they looked good, but were just okay as characters. Nitara and Rico were just there to get killed, Shang Tsung was just kinda there, Cabal had the most personality out of the group and got some good lines in. Reptile was good, but I wish his design was more humanoid like in the games. Goro was also good, but I don't think it was a good look to have him lose to the newcomer Cole Young. Apart from Sub-Zero, my favorite villain was Melina. I really liked her design and fight scenes. Would have loved to see more mouth action, cause that scene where she spreads her jaws wide open was my favorite. But it was fun while it lasted. By far the dumbest, or at least the dumbest thing I noticed about Mortal Kombat 2021 was the logic of how Earthrealm fighters are chosen to take part in the tournament. Last time I checked, Earthrealm warriors were chosen by Raiden, since he's the protector of Earthrealm. He picks the best, or at least capable fighters to face Outworld. Simple and effective. Which is why it baffles me as to why filmmakers chose to replace it with the dumbest system they possibly could. A random free-for-all. Instead of capable fighters being chosen, all you need to hold the fate of the entire world in your hands is this stupid dragon mark. A mark you gain not by proving yourself, but by simply killing someone who has it. which means that any random Joe could catch an Earthrealm warrior slipping and qualify for Mortal Kombat without even knowing what Mortal Kombat is. This leaves the door open for not only unprepared, even unsuspecting people to access Mortal Kombat, but even worse, villains. In the movie, Liu Kang mentions that he got his mark from a child trafficker. That proves that there's other people around the world who are eligible for Mortal Kombat just walking around with powers. What if someone who's in affiliation with Shang Tsung just kills a stray and joins the side of Earthrealm to infiltrate them from the inside? If they just let Kano in, then I say it's a possibility. As if it couldn't get any worse, the movie tells us that the only other way to get the Dragon Mark is through bloodline. Cole Young is the great-grandson of Scorpion, so that's why he was born with it. But then, Cole's daughter doesn't have the mark. I'm sure a dragon insignia is not something you miss at birth, so I guess it conveniently skipped a generation. I'm sure there's more nonsense that I missed, but you get the idea. In conclusion, despite all I just said, I still think Mortal Kombat is an okay movie. Sure, most of the characters feel rushed and underdeveloped, but they were serviceable. All the logical error I just mentioned didn't bother me during my viewing because I was enjoying the film. If anything's bad about Mortal Kombat, it's at least not annoyingly bad like Godzilla vs. Kong. The effects are good, each fighter had their moment, and all the fight scenes were good, except for the test your might scene. That one was pretty bad. Which is why I give Mortal Kombat 2021 a solid, dumb fun, rewatchable 5.5 out of 10, and I'm looking forward to the sequel. Hopefully they focus more on fleshing out the characters and less on the dumb stuff. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to know when I upload next. This has been Andre Darius, and I'll see you all next time. God bless.